My name is Greg Helbeck, and welcome to this REI Deal Breakdown. I am going to tell you about a property that I did in Pomona, New York, which is in Rockland County. It's a phenomenally good area. This was a deal that we found through a JV partner. So my friend Nick, shout out to Nick Martucci, he gave us a bunch of his old leads that he was not working too hard. And he was like, hey, if you guys want to call these leads, if we get anything, we'll split them 50-50. So we took the leads. I had Ryan on my team start calling through them. There was a guy in Pomona, had his mom living in this condo, and she wanted to move closer to him, and he didn't want her living there by herself, typical situation. It ended up being a super long follow-up. Ryan had to call this guy for oh my gosh, 6 to 12 months. I think it was probably like a year. Finally, he was ready to sell. He got multiple offers. I think we beat the other person out. I think there was another investor trying to bid the property, which makes sense all the time here. And Brett got on the phone with him, made sure he was serious, confirmed the numbers. The way that we structured it was we were going to close when his mom was ready to leave, but she wanted to lock in a price so she didn't have to worry about something changing whenever she was ready to sell. So we agreed on $200,000, which is a sick price for a 2-bed condo in Pomona. We went into contract, and we had to wait 5 or 6 months just to close because the lady still didn't move yet. So we were sitting in contract forever. Finally ended up getting this thing to the closing table, and we bought the property. Everything was sight unseen. I think we got there maybe right before the closing, but it wasn't going to change anything. And we got inside the house, and I was like, all right, let's check this thing out. And it absolutely was nasty inside. It smelled horrible. They didn't want to, clean anything out, which is part of the service we offer. So end up getting a junk guy to clean everything out. And then once we saw the house as a blank slate, we were like, all right, can we sell this as is, or does it make sense to spend some money to make some money? So what we ended up deciding on was we're going to spend about $15,000 in this unit right now so we can make it worth an extra $45,000. And that's really what the case was. So we ended up putting new floors in, painting, fixing some doors, putting some new light fixtures in, and doing a deep clean. It cost about $15,000. And now that $15,000 we spent got us an extra $45,000 on the resale value. So throw it on the market for $299. Within a week and a half, we have multiple offers. Somebody came in and offered us $335,000, which is crazy. So we got an extra I think it was 40 or 45,000 above what we were asking, because we put that money into that unit, because there was a comparable unit that didn't look like this. Similar condition, but not cleaned out and didn't have the upgraded floors. So by spending that money up front, we were able to obviously get a 3x ROI on our rehab, little mini rehab we did, and ended up getting it in contract with a buyer for $335,000. There was some drama, as always, to close. There was some HOA crap. The buyer's attorney was a complete clown. When it's all said and done, the net profit's $72,000, which we're going to split 50-50, which is awesome. So what are some lessons you can learn from this deal that you can do in your own business so you can do deals and make $72,000 worth of net profit, right? Number one, you want to spend some money to make money, but you don't want to over-rehab properties. I've mentioned this on many videos. You want to look at the comps and say, what is the least amount of money I have to spend within reason in order to get the best bang for my buck on the retail market? For example, if we didn't clean out that property and we left it the way it was, we probably would have sold it for $260,000, which would have been a crappy deal. But we saw that if we get the junk out and spend $15,000, it's going to be so much more attractive to the buyer. So that $15,000 is so much leverage when it comes to spending a little to get a lot. If you're rehabbing properties, if you can get at least a 2-to-1 return on what you're spending, which means if you spend $1, you get at least 2 back, it generally is worth it. So that's the first lesson. Lesson number 2. Not all deals, but some deals come with relentless follow-up. My team was ruthless with this seller. We knew that he was going to sell to an investor. We knew he wanted an off-market deal, and we were able to stay in touch with him. And when he was ready to sell, we were there, and we were able to beat the competitor out, and we got the property, and we're making $72,000. So you got to be relentless with follow-up, but you got to follow up with the right people. You don't want to follow up the same way with everybody. You want to identify the people who are actually motivated, who can benefit from your service, and then follow up with them. And then the third lesson is do deals with your competition, right? Collaborate with your competitors. Don't compete with them. Me and Nick have done several JV deals together. We made a bunch of money together. We get the same leads sometimes. Sometimes we get different leads, but we always find a way to work together, right? So if you're in a local market, be friendly with your competitors, right? Do deals with them. You can achieve so much more together versus trying to always go up against each other. So that's the third lesson. If you're not familiar with me, I didn't mention this in the beginning of the video. I've been a full-time real estate investor now for 10 years. I got a lot of experience operating in difficult markets like New York, where this deal was, or Seattle, where I live. So if you are in one of those two areas, or if you're in Delaware where my partner Brett lives, send me a DM. We want to buy your properties. We want to buy more deals from wholesalers. I just bought a deal from a wholesaler a couple months ago. They made and $16,000. So if you're a wholesaler and you want to sell me your deals, I promise you I will be a straightforward end buyer. Or if you just want to JV a wholesale deal together, we could do that too. Send me an email, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com, or a DM on Instagram. And I hope you got value from this. If you did, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next REI deal breakdown. Take care.